Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the CCSQ Data and Analytics April Town Hall. I think we are okay to go ahead and get started. For those of you who are new, these calls are designed to provide you with updates, announcements, training demos, and more related to the CDR, Databricks, and other topics as well. So with that, let's go ahead and cover a couple quick administrative reminders. Please remember to stay muted during our call to minimize interruptions. Please use the Zoom chat feature to ask any questions that will be answered during our Q&A portion. While our presenters may be answering either in the chat or maybe answering out loud, we do ask that all questions are put in the chat. That way we have a record of them. And then any that we are not able to answer, we might need to get a little more clarification on, or maybe we just might not have time to answer. That way we have a record of them and our team can get those answered, and then they'll be published to portal along with all other meeting materials on the CCSQ DNA portal after the event wraps. Just a reminder, give us a few days to get that turned over, just so we have time to get those materials made 508 compliant and accessible to all. So with that, let's go ahead and go over today's agenda. We are kicking things off with a Data Camp promo for the Spring 2025 Data Camp. Then we're going to be passing things over for a Code Commons demo. Then we're going to be having a presentation on SAS to Pi data match. Then data catalog to tool usability testing. And then finally, we'll be closing things out with the CDR to IDR connection presentation. So with that, I'm going to be passing things over to Amy to give us more information on our upcoming Spring Data Camp. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for that intro, Julia. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Julia? Okay. Hi, my name is Amy, and I am one of the CMS Data and Analytics leads. And I am here to introduce our Spring Data Camp, which will happen next month, May 13th and the 14th. And these sessions have been very helpful to our community in the past, educating users on the services for your data and analytics needs. So yes, please visit our portal events page for topics and agendas for both days. So with that said, I think we have a video to show you. I'll pass it back to Julia.
Thanks, Amy. Yep, so we have a video just to promo that information, hopefully.
On May 13th and 14th, the CCSQ Data and Analytics team will host the 8th CCSQ Data Camp, a multi-session event designed to educate the CCSQ D&A user community. Our mission is to inspire our community to come to the data, emphasizing the importance of developing and leveraging centralized, reliable, and robust data and analytic solutions. The 2025 Spring Data Camp will feature sessions on Databricks, machine learning, SAS 2 Pi, the CDR, and an overview of the CCSQ data and analytics objectives and vision. For updates on session details and invitations, visit the CCSQ D&A portal.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Amy. Yep, thank you. Okay, so with that, we are going to be switching gears a little bit, and we have our quarterly feedback survey for satisfaction. So we have moved those. Oh, maybe my deck's frozen. Okay, we've moved those to quarterly. Previously, these were monthly. And just a reminder for those that may have missed this in our last town hall, we're no longer reviewing the results in our town hall meetings themselves. Rather, we're moving that information over to our monthly newsletters. So when that information is available, it'll be put in the next newsletter as a recap from these quarterly surveys. So this survey helps us know how we can improve your experience within the CCSQ data and analytics environment and community. The results will be used to improve tools, trainings, and offerings. Please remember to only submit a survey if you are a user of our DNA environment. And then before we did these via SurveyMonkey, but we are moving them over to Zoom polls just so we can get quick results here. So in a moment, the Zoom poll pop up on your screen. You'll have 5 minutes to answer the questions. Please make sure you scroll down to see all of the questions and you don't miss any. Complete the ones relevant to you and then hit submit to lock in your answers. As a reminder, this survey is anonymous, but if you would like to provide your contact information, it does allow us to reach out to you and provide some support and follow-up where needed. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and launch that. Okay, it should be available on your screen now. We're a minute and a half in, so you'll have about 3.5 minutes left to complete the survey. We're about 3.5 minutes in our survey. You have about a minute and a half left to complete. Thank you to everyone who's participated so far. We have about 30 seconds left in our survey. Please take a couple seconds to wrap up your final answers there. Okay, thank you so much for your participation. With that, we are going to move over to our Code Commons demo, and I'm going to be passing things over to Dan. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you. Let me share. And so some of you may have noticed a new charm, something new that may have popped up as being active, and you may not know what it's about. So if you go into your portal environment and you're logged in, and I will add this caveat, you have to be like a standard CDR Databricks user with those permissions associated. So I know the IKEys people were working on that. I saw that in the chat. So, but so if I log into my standard CMS, I go into my portal lands me here, and then I want to go to my portal page, and I'll see this thing called Code Commons. So Code Commons is a tool that we are trying to use now to make it easier for maintaining all of our training material. Many of you who may have may have attended some of our office hours or lunch and learns or interactive sessions or looked at data camps, and you'll be familiar with kind of these sessions like in Portal as like an article that then maybe gives, but it's all kind of static stuff in here. Like the recording is, the code was what we created back at that time. And there have been system changes in the meantime. So what is a good way for us to make sure that you get the most reliable information? And that's where we've come in with Code Commons. This is also intended to be kind of a passive learning instrument. So if you missed the office hour, you can go in here and you'll see, well, as I said at the beginning, it's still under construction. We're going to reformat some of this stuff here, but you can go into these office hours or data camps, and you'll see the original the presentation material. So, for example, one of the recent ones we did, and we've updated all 14 of these to be the most current code. And so, for example, there was an interesting one recently on Matplotlib or Matplotlib and Seaborn. What you'll see is this is actually, it's kind of text heavy, but it's intended for you to be able to look at it kind of like a textbook and just like see what you missed. At the same time, it does have like the structure on the side here. You can go, navigate through here. And then you'll see like our code examples. We've updated everything to run out of this community location, the CDR PSA community schema, which everyone should have access to. If you don't, please contact help desk and we'll make sure you get that. So this is just a common location for just demo code. What's really extends this as well as we have corresponding, you'll notice it will show the code in these code blocks, which is nice, but you don't see any outputs. You can actually go into Databricks and there is a workspace. Apologies here. If you go to this workspace, there's a CDR PSA community workspace that everyone should also have access to. In here, you'll see a Code Commons notebooks. And this will actually be the active notebooks for each of these things. So we were talking about office hours, topic 13, this matplotlib. I can load this up. Ideally, what you'll do is you can create a clone of it. You can clone this and move it into your own location. And then you just run, set up your compute cluster, like connect to your personal compute cluster. And it should then just run all of this for you. And then you can run it and get the outputs that you were expecting. So this is a way of making sure that you have access to the code. The code is actually the most recent. We keep checking the code. We have some processes that we'll check to make sure that if there's a system upgrade or something, that these codes will still function properly, or else we'll fix them. And it can be kind of like your quickest way of just playing with exactly what we've presented. Again, I do recommend that you clone it and put it into your own personal space. But this is what we've been working on in the meantime. We have all 14 office hours over here. We've got the data camp material from 2023 in the fall, as well as 2024 spring and fall. Some of the town halls, town halls where our team has performed specific demos, as well as additional demos here. And some, well, I think we've only got one of the lunch and learns in here right now, but we're working on updating all these things. You'll see in demos, like it gives you the background on, if you need to install the Spark SAS 7 BDAT package. So all these things are extended to you and available to work with. You'll notice in this particular case, you're still going to have to make the necessary changes so that it, the practice location is going to something that's in your space. But when we get to that, we'll also update it and make sure it's very clear for you. That is all I wanted to share at this time. This is the Code Commons. We're going to try to keep it all, we've got alerts and stuff so we can keep it up to date for you as a passive learning tool or reference material for you. If you're unable to attend any of our training materials, they will all eventually be in here. And there's future stuff to come out with the reorganization of this and easier like searching mechanisms and such. But just wanted to share that if you happen to be one of those people who had seen, this Code Commons, that's what it is. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Dan. I did get that Code Commons. I tried Code Commons in SaskToPy, and they are getting that Code Commons is under construction, and SaskToPy gives them a black screen. And I can just make a note of that if that's easier. But that was just a direct message to me, and I wanted to make sure that got passed along.
I think SaskToPy, you're talking about, I think I quit saving, but the SaskToPy, I don't think there is anything SaskToPy directly in the Code Commons. There's SaskToPy link in the portal, which may be what they're referring to.
Okay.
But it forwarded me the message and we can discuss as well.
Sounds good. Thanks, Dan. Okay. Okay, so with that, we are going to be passing things over to Parv and Patrick for SaskToPy data match.
Thank you, Julia. So my name is Parv Joshi, and I am a data scientist with the AIM team, and so is Patrick. So today we'll be talking about a specific feature of the SaskToPy tool called the data match. So next slide, please. Yep. So for the agenda, I'll first go over what data match is and how it works, and then later Patrick will show you a demo of how to use data match from within Databricks. And lastly, we'll cover some resources and also some information about our office hours. So next slide. Yes. So data match. As the name suggests, data match is actually used for validating your data once you've converted your code. So what it basically does is it takes as input the data sets from your SAS run and your Python run, and it basically compares both of them. So it actually creates PySpark jobs to be able to do that. And what actually happens in those jobs is that we are basically joining both tables, the output from the SAS and the output from the Python. And basically, once we join, it will basically know which rows to compare to each other. Of course, we need to specify like a primary key for them to know basically what row corresponds to what row. And also the good part about PySpark jobs is even if you have a very large data set, you will still be able to use this, and you will be able to use like the compute power of the cluster in your Databricks environment. And also like in the end, like once the PySpark jobs are run, it basically gives you detailed reports on what was a match and what wasn't a match. So basically summaries and column and row level information about what's basically going on with the data. So I will show you a few examples in the next slide. Yep. So, so this is basically just a workflow, like I mentioned. This happens after conversion. So you basically run your SAS code and give you an basically like give an output data set. And same thing for Python. You have a Python or PySpark output data set, and you both like both of them are being read into data match as like PySpark data frames, and then we just apply the data match on it. So in the next slide, we can actually see. Okay, yeah, actually, yeah. Yeah. So over here, we can see that there is an image of basically the UI version of the data match. So in this, basically, there'll be like different things at the left. I don't know if you can see the screen. Yep. There it is. So basically in the left, there's like different things like the dashboard, the column overview, row overview, and things like that. The Databricks version actually just simplifies and combines all of them into one HTML report, so it's easier to view. So what this one shows is first, like this is the column overview. It will list all the columns in both data sets and give you like a data type for what it is, and basically match count. So it will give you the number of rows that matched for this column, and the ones that didn't match would be in the mismatches, and then a percentage of the match per column. So here you can see like age and ID column are 100% match, but country and name has like one mismatch out of three, so that's like a 66%. So in the next slide, we can see a row overview. So on the row overview page, you can see basically the columns that didn't match completely, and for each column, it will show you like which row values didn't actually match. So here we actually have a primary key column. So that's basically telling you like in this particular case, it is the ID, but this will be a unique identifier for your data set, and it doesn't has to be like one column. It could be a multiple, like a list of multiple columns, and Patrick will talk more about that in the demo as well. So here we have a source value, which is basically the value in your SAS data set for that particular ID, and the target value is the same for Python. So over here you can see in SAS the output was Bob, and basically in Python it was Jack as the name. So just by looking at this, you can find out that there is some inconsistency within, like in the code once you convert it to Python. So it could be something as a logical error, or maybe like indexing starting from either 0 or 1 or things like that. So there's some logical issue that you will find out from looking at this report. So you can go back and remediate in your Python converted code. So similar thing for country here. So if we go to the next slide. Yep, so this is like an overall percentage graph, basically showing you how much of the total was basically matching perfectly. So 87.8% was like a match, and 12.2% was a mismatch. So there's different kinds of charts available in the UI, but as I mentioned, you won't have to download it like the picture shows here, because in Databricks, it'll just be like an HTML report that has everything. So next slide. I believe is the demo. So I'll hand it over to Patrick now.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So this is the template code. So this is to give it like an overview of just how it runs in Databricks. So the first line is simply to install all the modules that are required to run a data match, and then you have to restart Python to load all the modules. And then next line is to set up SAS and Spark. The main lines are the workspace. You have to set to where the SAS code is located, and then tell it that the environment is Databricks and give it a Spark, which this is loaded with loading the common PySpark package. And once this is run, you're now ready to run data match. So what needs to happen is you just load the two data sets. You want the full path here. So the full path can be found. You just go to inside the data sets, but you go to the copy URL path and select full path and just copy and paste that both here and here. And then this will read in a Parquet file. It could be any type of file, but this is just an example of reading in a Parquet file. You just need to get a Spark data frame. And then next, you have to configure the report itself. So you need a report name, the path where you want to save your reports. In this case, it's the data match reports, which again is the full path. And then set the primary keys and which columns you want to compare. And then you run the match fastdf function from SAS to Pi. Most of these parameters should look familiar, except the CXT, that's just the Spark context. And then the final line will run to actually view the report inside the notebook. Okay, and both this file, the template file, and the demo file, we'll try to make public somewhere, but I don't think we figured out exactly where we're going to put them. Okay, on to the demo. So the demo, this is just a function, the parameters, and a short description. And we can skip down. This is all the code I just went through to set up SASTPy and Spark. So we can go to the cases. So in the first case, this is going to be where both the first data set and the second data set match exactly. So this is the first data set. It's just a simple, it has 10 rows and 5 columns with one primary key, and we just convert that to a Spark data frame. So in case 1 is just to show what a report looks like when everything matches. So this is the exact same. Then you run the match fastdf, and then you print the HTML file. So this is what the output looks like from this match fastdf. It shows the HTML, and it also shows where it's saving the report to. And then the actual report is here. So again, the row check pass because it's the exact same data. The column checks pass. It shows the number of rows in both the first and second data set, the primary keys, the number of columns that were mismatched, which is 0, the number of columns that were found in both data sets, and then the columns that are found in just the first and just the second data set. And then it goes through the column names, the data types, the match count, the number of mismatches, and the percentage. So now we can see what it looks like when there's a row mismatch. So it's the same data set, except this time there's going to be 4 extra rows. And this line here is just to redirect the output, so we don't have to look at the matchfastDF output anymore. I just want to look at the report itself. So here we see the row check failed because you can see the rows in the second data set is 14 and the rows in the first data set is 10. It might be a little surprising to see that it shows 100% matches. That's because it only compares the rows, the values that match the primary key. So because these values in the second data set have different primary keys, they're not actually compared. Okay, so now we can look at some values that mismatch. So this has two rows that have different values, and I also added an extra column this time. So whenever you put in the compare columns, if you put an empty array, it will compare all the columns. But if you, for whatever reason, you don't want to compare all the columns, you only want to compare a subset, you can just name those columns exactly. And so that way, if you do have an extra column, maybe for testing purposes, and you don't want to see that column in the report, that's one way you can do it. Okay, but this is how the report will look like in this case. So we have 10 rows in each. There's two mismatched columns, and there's one column found in the second data set, and that's the extra column. So it will give you a count, and also it will give you the names of the columns that are extra. And then if you look down here, it will show the column and the number of mismatches, the match percent, and it will give you a couple examples of what the mismatches look like. The report will show up to 5 for each column. So in this case, there's just one, right? So it gives you the column, which is call 2, and there's a mismatch here, and also in the decimal column. For the next case, it's case 4. There's a tolerance used to test how similar decimal values are. It's the default tolerance is to 4 decimal places, and it's if they match at 4 decimal places, then it's fine. All right, so here this one is to 5 decimal places. This one's to 4 exactly, so it matches. This one's slightly above 4, and this one's added 0.001, I believe. So that value is much higher than the tolerance. So here, come down to the report, and you'll see there's 2 mismatches, and it will show the values here. So here you can see it's slightly above the 4th decimal place, and this one's at 3 decimals. The next case is just the testing the data types. So here, if you input a string instead of an integer for the final column, it will actually convert the values it can to match the original data set, the first data set, which will give you matches for all but the last one, because that's not a number. So here, the report shows there's one mismatch column, and shows a 9, and then the string 9. And that's, yeah, because it'll actually try to compare the values when it can. So even if you convert to floating point numbers as well, it will do the same thing. So 8 of these will match, but the last one won't, and that's because of the tolerance. All right, so it should look the same. Yeah. Okay, and then, if you do care about the data types matching, you will have to write a little bit of code on your own, and that's just to compare the data types. So what this code does is it just goes through the columns and will say if there's a difference, right? So here, the first data set use the int column as a integer, and the second data set had it as a string. This is in the case that you have non-unique primary keys, which is something that shouldn't happen, but it does. We'll show an example of what the report looks like then. So there's two rows that have the same primary key of 1. So if we come down to the report, we'll see that here we'll see this row has the exact same value for call 1 in both data sets, but it says it's a mismatch. And that's because, yeah, there's a primary key, duplicated primary key in the data set. So sort of an odd error, but anytime that there's a value that looks like it should match and it says it's a mismatch, then you know it's a primary key issue. All right, and then the final one. So this is what it looks like to read in a data set. This is the SAS path, the Python path, and then it reads the 2 files in. This is a new data set. So you have sale ID, the store ID, sale date, species, and price. And the sale ID is the primary key. So this is code, pretty much just copied it from the template and filled in the values here. So we have just the key column and then all the columns to compare, reports, and now you can see again the row check, just checking the value that the 2 data sets have the same number of rows and they don't. And there's the 4 mismatch columns, so we can go down, look at some of the mismatches. So here we can see that there's a price, and the price has 2 decimal places, but on the second data set, it looks like it's been truncated. And here you can see that the values just seem to not match up. And the species column, it looks like some are all lowercase and some have a title format, and then some more mismatches. So what you can do is use the tool as an iterative process. So if you look at this one, maybe you think that you know what this error is, you can run a test and correct that error. So here, why that canceled? Just to see if maybe that is what it's doing, that it's simply truncating the values. And yeah, it looks like every value in the second data frame was truncated. And then another one is if you notice some issue, like maybe you have multiple data sources, and so you want to just see possibly why this error is happening, then you can do a subset of your data. So in this case, I'm looking at just the rows in the second data set that have a lowercase species. And you'll see it only happens in a specific store ID. So maybe that shows possibly some change that needs to be made in reading in this data. Okay. And that's the end.
Thanks, Patrick.
Yep. So now, basically, we have some resources for you to use these Sastify tools. The first is the training page on the DNA portal. So there we have lots of things like user guides, PDF documentation, FAQs, and things like that. We are in the process of uploading the data match material on there as well. Next, you can reach out to the email and the Slack channel here to get a service ticket created so we can help you for something for a particular task. Also, if you need ongoing help, we would recommend you join the Sastify Slack channel called QNet Sastify. So this is a private channel, so you would have to put in your name in the chat today so that we can make a note of it and make sure you're added to the channel. So over there, we'll go over things like tool updates and basically answer your questions and give you information about what we'll cover in office hours. So the next slide would be the information about our office hours. So these office hours are basically bi-weekly, which we hold every 2 weeks on Thursdays at 2:30 p.m. So there's one tomorrow. So you should be getting an email if you're part of the SAS transition email group with the invite for these office hours. So I believe that's all from our side. Back to Julia.
Thanks so much. So with that, I'm going to be passing things over to Rafaela for data catalog tool usability testing.
Thank you, Julia. Hello, I'm Rafaela Hunter. I am a UX designer on the DNA team, and you can go ahead and go to the next slide. So we have been working on a tool to replace the Confluence data catalog. Pause for cheering. So to do that, what we need to do is some usability testing of the tool that's being worked on. And we're planning on doing this testing in late May, early June. So basically, I am here to recruit volunteers. If you want to be one of those people that gets to kind of take a peek, give it a little look, give us some feedback, test a few things out, should only take 20 to 30 minutes of your time. You just need to let me know if you're interested. You can either state here in the chat that you're interested. You can contact me via Slack. Just make sure you check on the spelling of my name, or you can email me. Again, though, just be aware that this needs to be for Databricks users only. So if you're a Databricks user and you want to be one of the first one to give some feedback about the new CDR data catalog, please reach out to me. And I look forward to hearing from lots of people so we can get lots of feedback. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Rafaela. Okay, so last topic of the day, we are going to be passing things over to Miriam for a CDR to IDR connection presentation.
Thank you. If you just want to go to the next slide, that'd be great. Yes, as Julia said, I'm Miriam Ivar. I'm the group product manager for the QDAS team. We are excited to announce that we have the CDR to IDR connection. Our pilot group is wrapping up, and so we wanted to give everybody a heads up that this connection will be available within the next couple of weeks for the community to start requesting access. We will put out an announcement and some additional instructions on how you can request access. But this new module will allow the connection between the CDR to the IDR systems. Specifically, it's easier access for the Medicare Advantage Part C encounter data that is in the IDR system. And there is additional data that's available, but is based on the assigned job codes. So we will be publishing that out to the CCSQ DNA portal once it's available for the entire community to access. And then we will also be providing step-by-step instructions on how you can request access and how to establish that connection once it's available to everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, Miriam. Okay, so with that, we are at the end of our content today. So just a quick thank you to our presenters at this point, and all of our attendees for attending today. I don't believe we have any. I'm just verifying. Oh, okay, we just got a question. So, for those, oh, we're getting a few now. For those who already have the DUA job code for IDR access, will that automatically be accessible without any actions?
Hi, Julia, this is Justina. I'll jump in. So
Thanks,
the short
Justina.
answer is no. We will be sending communication out when it is appropriate for everyone to use that solution. It is coming soon, so please stand by and be on the lookout of for our communication about it.
Sorry, I'm just taking notes to make sure I record that answer. Okay. Thanks so much, Justina. Okay, so our next question. Could you show the file read directory, please, that starts with workspace? And I apologize, I'm not entirely sure who all of the questions are always directed to.
Sorry, I'm the one with the questions. That's in the
No, that's
code.
okay.
Sorry, that's in the notebook for reading file. Just trying to see what the directory should look like, because I know some of the contractors read from S3 bucket, S3 link, and it looks like federal can read from the federal workspace file path. That's the file path one. The federal one is the one I want to take a look at. Just to see how I read data.
Is that for
So,
Dan or for no, that would be for Patrick or
probably
Dan.
Is this about the
Sorry.
SAS to Pi presentation, or is this about the content in the Code Commons, or is this something separate?
it's not. It's foundational how to read a file in CDR Databricks for
Oh, okay.
federal. Yeah.
Yeah. I can reach out to, or Jason, can you have somebody from tier 2 maybe work with them, and we can send you the resources for most of that would actually be in that Code Commons location and session 2 or 3, but there are multiple ways of doing it.
Okay. Thanks. I just saw it on the screen share just now. It's just
Oh,
but
somebody was
that
sharing
works.
it. Oh.
Yeah. It's like back / workspace / folder. So that's the path we can use, right?
So the stuff in we can talk offline, but stuff that's in the workspace, it shouldn't have any data or anything like that. The workspace content is specifically for your code. And then everything else usually goes to a mounted S3.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's where it's confusing me a little bit. So we'll talk offline. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thanks, Dan. And then our next question, will we use EUA IDs or HARP IDs to access the IDR?
I think Justina just answered that.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Sorry. All of the responses are starting to trickle in and move all of the questions up. Okay, so it'll be your EUA ID, and then Justina added some additional clarification there as well, which I'll be sure to record. And so when we publish that out, that information will be available. And then it looks like at this point, the only there's one outstanding question. So all of our IDRC job codes will be effective to connect via the CDR connection. And that
So
one
I was,
hasn't been answered.
yeah, I was in the middle of typing it. So
Thanks,
the short,
Justina.
the short answer is yes. However, we will be asking that the users focus on the Part C data primarily to begin with. We will be sharing with you the behavior that we're asking everyone to follow to not saturate the pipeline. So for an example, we are asking that people would not be extracting all of the data as they may have done in the past. That would be an unacceptable behavior. We're asking that people utilize that pipeline to have the ability to query and grab the information that is pertinent to what they have to do for a given task.
Thanks, Justina. I'm just making sure to record these additional questions then to make sure we don't miss anything. I don't see any others at this point in the chat, so I think we are going to close out our Q&A at this point. So with that, one too many. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to our presenters today and all of our great demos. And thank you to our attendees and those who filled out our survey today to continue giving us great feedback. Again, the recording, slide content, and Q&A will be available shortly in the CCSQ DNA portal. And then upcoming events, May 2nd, we do have a scheduled maintenance event. And then again, a shout out, especially for anyone who joined late. Spring Data Camp is May 13th and 14th. We really hope to see you there. It'll start at 1 p.m. Eastern Time and run through close of business at 5 p.m. And then if you have any questions or issues, please always feel free to reach out to us via email or Slack. Okay, well, with that, thank you so much. I hope everyone has a great day, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.